All right, CFL Power Rankings going into week 4. We're not going to have a Thursday night preview like we normally do because the game started by the time we're recording this. Getting this to you a little bit late today, so apologies for that. But coming in at number 9, it is the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I view this Ticats team as one that has an opportunity to come out of the hole that they are in, but 0-2, just lost bad in their last one, and not a team that I had high hopes for anyway. Now, a team that I have been impressed by in ways that I wasn't anticipating at various points in this season. And one that I do think can come out of this. I was on the CFL this week on the Ticats audio network. So for those of you who are watching this after that, sorry. But I did say, like, of the 0-3 teams, Hamilton, has the opportunity to make the biggest impact and has the best opportunity to turn this thing around. And I genuinely believe that. But these are based off of what we have seen so far. And what we have seen is, I think, the 9th best team in the Canadian Football League. At 8, it's Winnipeg. And I do think that Winnipeg has the opportunity to come out of this with Zach Collaros starting to look a little bit better. No Schoen is going to hurt them quite a bit. This defense needs to get things figured out. But the biggest concern in Winnipeg is they can't block a thing right now. And so Zach Collaros is trying to find his way through these games while also having a whole bunch of pressure in his face. And I made the point on the CFL this week. I just find it weird where they're going, well, yeah, Zach Collaros, he's really struggling finding a rhythm. Anyway, he's lined up in the slot, and here comes Strevler. Like, I get you have this fun toy, and you have this weapon that can be really, really dangerous, and I'm not saying that Strevler is the reason that Collaros sucks this year. A lot of that is on Collaros so far. But it's not helping get this guy into any sort of the rhythm that you're trying to implement this new thing into your offense. Coming in at number 7, it is Ottawa. And I have said on here a number of times, I thought Ottawa had the best offseason. I think that they are going to grow into a really interesting football team. They got the shit kicked out of them this week by Montreal. And so that was a moment for me. That was okay, you guys are improved. Maybe not as much as I thought, as quickly as maybe I thought it was going to be. That was really, really bad from Ottawa and showed that I think there are... Now, that Montreal team, you're not going to hear them for a little bit on these rankings, which means they're a very good football team. But that exposed quite a few holes that this team has to figure out. I don't think you can just go, bad day against a good team, here we go. I think that you have to fundamentally look at how you defend the deep ball, how Drew Brown stares down every receiver he's ever thrown to in the Canadian Football League, and how your team protects the football. I think you really have to look at those things coming off of that loss. Coming in at number 6, it is the Edmonton Elks, who by the time you listen to this, may have pulled off an upset in beating the BC Lions. I bet against it. But Edmonton coming into this game, they have hung with good teams. They have been there at the end, and different little things have just ended up costing them. But you build all those together, and you still have a winless football team. I do not have faith in Chris Jones to turn this around. I do think it will be someone else at the helm who will give it a try, but there are at least positive things building in Edmonton, and McLeod Bethel-Thompson has been really, really good to start this season. At 5, it's Calgary. They had the bye this week, or last week. They come into a matchup now at McMahon Stadium against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and if they want to really firmly establish that, hey, that this is a team you need to take seriously, not only in the West Division, but in the entirety of the Canadian Football League, I think you have to give a look at them. And Jake Mayer needs to be someone who steps up and really give a tough time to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers here. I think you have to really... I think Calgary has to come out and really put a stamp on this one if they want that. At 4, it's Saskatchewan, coming off of their most convincing win of the season over the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I think that they did a good job. They get an early turnover. They get some big plays defensively. The thing that you like about Saskatchewan, they didn't beat themselves with the penalties. The run game gets going a little bit more. You're worried about Harris, but he seems like he is going to be fine. But the defense was able to make a number of big plays to keep them in this. This is a good football team. I just can't put them in this top tier just yet. At 3, it's the BC Lions. A Lions team that is flawed, no doubt. But they have the best player in the league right now in Vernon Adams. He has 2 probably three really good weapons that he has to work with, and you have a defense that's still figuring some things out. So, and I think the offensive line changes they've made have worked for the most part. So I still view this as a top tier team in the Canadian Football League. At 2, it's Toronto. We talk about Edmonton. Just lost a tough one late. Toronto just won a tough one late. That was really good work by Cameron Dukes, going out there and once again kind of putting on a show. And you have a three-headed monster that looks really dangerous in that backfield. And the thing with Toronto is I don't think they've really figured out where all the pieces fit defensively yet. They can get to the quarterback, I think, relatively aggressively, and it hasn't really broken through yet. So there is admittedly maybe a bit of projecting on this, although they're still 2-0. But this is a team that I do think has the talent that they can really make a lot of noise again in the East. And at number 1, it's Montreal. That was the most dominant performance you will probably see all season in what they did against Ottawa, and the pressure they were able to put on Brown, all of the turnovers, and then Fajardo to Philpott deep all night long just ripped this team apart. So credit Montreal for again looking like the best and most complete team in the CFL through 3 weeks.